Hello and welcome back to ORL Tier 1 Round 9 on a Sunday afternoon here at Zandvoort. I am your host, Jman075. It's great to be back in the commentary box once again for the first time in a few weeks. We're back and looking forward to what promises to be a very interesting race, has big ramifications for the championship as always. And it's good to see Mikey in the chat pumped, raring to go. It's good to finally have a stream back on today. And we got a grid of drivers that are raring to go, that all want to get the maximum results for themselves today. As we'll just make some volume adjustments quickly as we get going. That's a little bit better. Bit more noise on the track. And yeah, so qualifying at Zandvoort, always a great league racing track, I find, is Zandvoort. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top. Obviously a difficult track to overtake on as well. Really only one major overtaking spot on the track, so drivers going to have to work hard to make their way through the field. Usually a bit of a DRS train tends to form early on in the race, particularly if some people are out of position, and that's why qualifying is such an important thing in this race, as Com United serving a qualifying ban this afternoon, so will not be participating and starting at the back of the grid, and probably not one of the tracks you'd pick to have to come from last on the grid, just based on difficulty to overtake, but you never know what can happen here. As we know in RRL, anything can happen. As we're watching Mr. Frosty on his return to RRL, hasn't raced much. I believe this might be his second race back on the game, completes his first lap, and you can see maybe a bit of rust showing of the 1:12.5 there. And Mahavir is wasting no time setting the timing screens alight with a 108.8. So great start for the Mercedes driver and championship contender. And speaking of, we will have a quick review of the standings for everyone's benefit. So after Mahavir's win last week, I believe, he's had 2 wins on the trot, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so 2 wins in a row for Mahavir. He's looking to make it 3 for 3. Oscar Piastri still leading the championship. He's on 132 points. Mahavir 11 points behind on 121. And then there's a little bit of daylight. They're the main 2 contenders. But then there's Keithy, who's in third on 83 points. So 49 off the leader. Not completely out of it by any stretch of the imagination is Keithy. But we'll have some work to do. And then you got Grateful Dog. And then Trent as well, who we're looking at on screen at the moment. So that's the top 5. And then the Constructors is a really interesting one as well. So we've got Aston Martin, who are leading the way under Piastri Goat's lead, with Guga supporting. And they're on 153 points. And then in second place, a little bit of a gap down to Ferrari with 35 points. So it's not a huge gap. Can very easily be overturned by just one good race from Ferrari. And then behind Ferrari, there's a lot of teams that are right in the mix. So Ferrari do have both their drivers today, which is handy for them. And then we got Mercedes, who are flying back into it with having Mahavir added to their team. And they're all of a sudden now P3 in the championship, 2 points behind Ferrari. Then you got Haas, who were leading at one stage, have slowly been dwindling down the order, but finally they've got both their drivers in the race today, so maybe they could turn their fortunes around. And then you got Sauber in 5th on 103 points, and they've got Martin today but no Rhino, so Frosty's reserving for them. So those are the main championship contenders that we've got to look out for. Top 5 teams. It's very tight, and there is only 5 rounds to go. So after this, 5 rounds after this, I believe. So 14 round season. And yeah, it's going to be good to see what happens. Keithy set a decent lap just then. I'm not sure what's happened to Clammy Kid, but he's had a spin and he's taken out a couple of the braking boards there. Let's have a look at Guga. Good first sector. Looked like he just picked up some gravel there, so not sure how that's going to impact him for the rest of the lap. Currently P7 with a decent time of 109.5. Coming to the line now, can he improve on it? He certainly can. Moves up to P6 with a 109.4, I should say. But Mahavir still clearly out in top 3/10 clear of Piastri Goat. Maybe this is a good track for Mahavir. And if he can get the win today, he's a very good chance of taking that championship lead back off Piastri Goat and looking poised to try and win his second championship in a row, which would be a very good result. Hasn't been since Geordie Slater when we've had a two-time Tier 1 champion. So we'll see if Mahavir can follow in the footsteps of the great man himself, Geordie Slater, who I doubt will be watching this stream, but in the off chance you are, we'll follow Mahavir on his lap now as we're about halfway through the qualifying session. As you can see, flying through Sector 1, he's matched his personal best time there and continuing all the way through. Make sure to chuck your race predictions in the chat as well. Any early indications? It's looking like Mahavir's very solid so far, but there's still plenty of drivers that can compete, so make sure to give us a prediction and maybe give us a reason why as well to keep us entertained. And then Mahavir is just up on his time, and he's had a bit of a slide there, so I'm not sure this will be an improvement lap, and I think he's backed out of that one in the end. But he will have another crack later on. What about Danger? Similar to Mahavir, a little bit slower than his first lap time, so you're going to need to find some time here in the last two sectors. He's going to need to find about 3/10, and that is not going to do it so far. Still slightly up on his time, and we make it now towards this long right-hander. Quite a difficult corner, and it's a very important one to make sure you get the right exit. And now Danger with the DRS to the line, backs out of it. Wasn't improving, so he's just going to slowly crawl across the line for that one and go back to the pits and have another crack. What about Ari? Looks like he's down on his time. I don't think he's on a lap. I think he's on an in-lap based on his battery. What about Sprinter Giggles in the Williams? Another new driver, reserving today, but not quite on the pace. Broadstar wants to see Piastri Goat's hot lap, and when he comes out, and I'll be more than happy to show you that. We'll give you what the fans want to see. So Broadstar's called Danger for the win, and I don't think it's a bad shout at all. I think he's probably overdue a win based on some of his performances so far this season. Still winless, but has been doing very well. He got a pole position in Spain, if I do recall correctly. That race he got a puncture, which cost him his race. He ended up DNFing that, but he's gotten a third. He's gotten one podium and a driver of the day and one pole position, 3 DNFs from 5 races. So when he has been able to finish the race, it's usually been a pretty good result for Danger. So we'll see if he can make anything of this opportunity today. As you can see, already in a good qualifying position. And you've still got the likes of Keithy, Grateful Dog, that can always threaten for wins as well. But there has only been 3 race winners this season, and they've been Piastri Goat, Mahavir, and Gregory Prisbel when he came in to reserve for one race and took that win quite comfortably, as many could have probably predicted. And Martin's on a fly here as well, over a second up on his current time, which is his bankers. Not sure, I think it might have been Kuistra there who just set a lap, and Martin's invalidated there on the final corner, so that lap's going to go in the bin, unfortunately. And actually, we'll have a look at Piastri Goat as he begins his final lap, getting a nice slipstream from Guga there, his teammate. And we'll see if he can make anything of that. The two Aston Martin teammates helping each other out. the current Constructors' Championship leaders will be hoping to get a decent points haul today and hang on to that advantage as Piastri go through the first sector. Not sure if Guga's on a hot lap as well. It looks like they're both going on one, but this could be a bit annoying for Piastri if Guga's getting in his way a little bit. He is a 10th up on his time, as Danger has gotten past Piastri time as well, up into P2, and then Trent jumps into P2 ahead of Danger. So it's currently a Mercedes 1-2. Piastri not gaining any time on this lap, and I don't think he will improve, so we'll stay P4 for now. What about Guga though? Guga was up on his lap time, and he might get a little bit of a slipstream here from one of the drivers in front. And he crosses the line now. It's looking pretty solid, and he's up to P5 with a 109.3, and just moves ahead of Keithy, who is not on a lap at the moment, but I believe he's teeing one up with 6 minutes to go. So can Keithy find a response here? Is he going for a lap is the question. I don't believe so. No, coming into the pits, and we'll have one final run shortly. But Ari Wedlock is on a lap, the other Ferrari, currently in P9. And here's another threat we haven't really spoken about so far. Has been threatening some good results recently. Broadstar said Guga selling. Yeah, I'm not sure what that strategy was, because Piastri was getting the slipstream, but Guga he didn't move out of the way. He finished the lap himself, which kind of got in Piastri way a little bit. So I'm not sure if that was coordinated or not. But they've still got plenty of time in the session to sort things out, as Ari Wedlock now has looked pretty solid through this lap and coming to the line, and it's going to be a slight improvement, but no positions gained for the Ferrari. The Ferrari's P6, P9, split by the two Haas drivers in P7 and P8. And Mercedes are 1 and 2, Aston Martin 4 and 5, Williams 11 and 12, Sauber 15, 16. The teams cannot be separated at the moment, besides the Red Bull team, with Com United obviously not competing in this session. But yeah, all the teams in very close proximity to each other at this current stage. Let's see what Martin's got for us in the kick Sauber. Big slide there. Managed to hang on to it. And currently languishing down in 15th place. Not a position Martin is very familiar with. So he'll be looking to make his way out of that. And he's 1 second up, which is about what he was last time. But the final corner was where he made his mistake that entered his lap prematurely. He doesn't make the same mistake this time, and now flies around the final corner and comes into the pits, decides not to complete the lap, is instead going to wait until the end. So obviously backing himself in that he's going to be able to complete a good lap. And I believe Globtrip might have been on the lap, but mistake there, and he's aborted, setting up for another one. Williams down in P11 at the moment. Just inside the 1 minute 10s is his lap time. He's got Mahavir pretty close behind as well. So we might dilly-dally on over there to Mahavir. Is he going to go for a lap now, or is he just setting up another out lap? Now it looks like he's going for it. So here we go. The Mercedes of Mahavir looking to improve on his pole position. This might be his final run of the session. He's got a clear track in front. And now to the banked left-hander. Takes a bit of a low line there, gets a good exit. And now coming through, just full throttle left and then to the right. And then just a slight lift. Oh, I think he might have actually been able to go full throttle through there, as Globdrip has crashed just in front of where Mahavir is, and that is his session over. And it was a ripping first sector from Mahavir. He's over a 10th up, and he's got it absolutely hooked up at the moment. He's got a car in front of him, It is his teammate, and he's going to get a nice little slipstream from that as well. So this is very well coordinated. And look at this, he's 3/10 up, absolutely flying is this Mercedes at the moment. Has something to prove this afternoon, does Mahavir, as he comes around the final corner. Takes a little bit of curve that might have hurt him slightly, but I don't think it's going to be severe enough. This should be a good improvement, and this is going to be a very difficult time to beat as he crosses the line, and it's a 108.6. So he did lose a little bit of time there in the final sector, but that's still a very, very competitive lap. Let's see who else on a lap. Looks like Clemmy Kid aborted that one. Still going to have time for a last-ditch effort. Trent, I believe, is setting up another outlap also. So let's see who's closest. It looks like they're all in the same area. They want to go as late as possible. Mahavir has set the challenge out for the rest of the drivers. So now it's up to them to get the job done. Frosty's invalidated, but he'll get another lap in. I believe Piastri Goat. We will have a look at Piastri Goat here. As the man with 3 pole positions, we should give him some credit that he could possibly get this job done. There is some traffic. There's a lot of traffic you can see on the track map below, as Guga lets Piastri Goat through, not Guga, a Mercedes, I believe, of Mahavir. And now it's the 2 Aston Martins. Once again, Guga in front of Piastri Goat. Piastri Goat gives Guga a bit more of a lead this time and can take that toe down the back straight. So the 2 Aston Martins now commencing their lap. Keithy is on a lap, as is Grateful Dog, and everyone now on the track is setting a lap to try and claim pole position, or at least something close, as we watch Guga with a good start to the lap. Piastri Goat a little bit sluggish through there, so we'll see what his split time is. He's going to need about 5/10 on this lap to catch Mahavir, and that's a good first sector. It's over a 10th up. So can this be a good challenge from the Aston Martin? Guga's looks like he's flying along pretty nicely as well. Piastri Goat hasn't actually caught him that much, so this could be quite a good finish for Aston Martin. PS Bomber finishes 14th. It's not in the greatest position for him. Grateful Dog crosses the line now. Here's P5, as Kowistra gets a 5-place grid penalty for colliding with Clammy Kid. But here goes Piastri Goat, is 2.5 tenths up. This could be really tight here. Has the slipstream worked absolutely perfectly for him here? Martin puts in a blinder right at the end, up into P3. Keithy P4. We're still waiting to see as Guga crosses the line now. What's Guga going to do? He goes P2. Piastri Goat goes P2. And Danger splits the 2 Aston Martins. So what a lap from Guga there. That's come out of nowhere. And Piastri Goat just short a 10.5. Mahavir with a ripping lap. It was always going to be hard to beat that. And Trent has invalidated. So we'll start no higher than P5. What about Clammy Kid? Also done. So that's the end of qualifying. And what a interesting finish that was. A great strategy from Aston Martin in the end there. And now they're 2 and 4. But the credits go to Mahavir. What a lap that was with a couple minutes to go in qualifying. A great result for the Mercedes team and for his championship hopes. But it is the 2 championship leaders on the front row. And this is going to be a start to behold. And we're just doing a red flag for the grid penalty for Questra, as it wasn't warranted. So if you are driving and listening, don't leave the lobby, and everyone can just go and send it into the wall if they so please. But yeah, just bear with us for a sec as we get the race back under control. Okay. So this is not the race start, just confirming, as everyone jumps. Wow. That is a sight to behold. Oh, that's lucky. Keith, he had collisions off. Did he? We'll be back shortly. We're just going to be setting up the lobby once again. We should be back underway in a couple of minutes, so shouldn't be too long. Looks like we've got the all clear. And we should be getting underway. So a reminder to remember your setups. Oh, people are going to kill me. Remember to put on your setups. We are not restarting if you forget. Alright. Looks like we are just about set to go. After a little hiccup, thanks to the game, as always, we can finally see a bit of racing action now. All right, here we go, round 9. The Dutch Grand Prix, Mahavir's on pole, and we are underway, and it's a good start for Mahavir, already tucked straight into block. Piastri going off, who's getting attacked by Danger around the outside, and Guga as well, having a look at Danger early on, trying to get an early position, can't quite do it though. Everyone clean through the first corner so far, and Trent has gotten ahead of Guga, and he's made contact with Keithy behind. Guga somehow saved that spin and stays in 5th place, but that's cost Keithy a little bit, and now Martin could be able to glide through here. They're wheel to wheel, the Sauber and the Ferrari, as Globdrip's gone off at the back. Keithy hangs onto that position as they're flying through the middle sector. All the cars down the hill now, and a very wild start there, but somehow everyone's facing the right way, and it doesn't look like doesn't appear to be any damage on any of the cars so far, so a relatively scot-free start for most of the front runners. Mahavir is still leading the way by 4/10 as we head towards the end of lap 1 now. 36 lap race this will be, but it is a short lap here around Zandvoort, and we'll see if any moves are going to happen into turn 1 as Piastri Goat is following Mahavir pretty well through this final sector, and we'll see if he's close enough to have a go as he just ducks out of the slipstream for a moment, thinks about a move, but is too far back on this occasion and just sits behind for now. And with DRS enabled, will the DRS train begin? Globdrip comes into the pits, so he must have picked up some damage. He's also picked up a 10-second for speeding in the pit lane. So not the greatest of starts for Globdrip. As we look at the tyre situation, everyone on softs except for Martin on the mediums, and Globdrip is now pitted onto the hards. I believe he started on the softs. So there's the strategy for you. And it's going to be very similar for most of the drivers, and Martin going backwards in large part thanks to those medium tyres, giving him a slower run off the start. And Globdrip with another unfortunate flop race. Yeah, he's had a rough run of it of late, has Globdrip, and just hasn't been able to find any sort of form at the moment, and he's causing yellow flags again towards the back. So down in plumb last at the moment is the Williams, and we'll see if he can do a bit of a recovery drive from there. Still plenty of time to go, as in the meantime, taking the lead of the race for the first time is Piastri Goat under DRS, gets past Mahavir. I believe that's going to be the first of many swaps we'll see over the next 36 laps, and the Aston Martin, the championship leader, is now in the lead of the race. And Mahavir closely following behind. So not letting him go easily. We'll see how hard these guys want to battle this. The top four have already dropped Keithy in P5, and Guga has dropped down a couple spots into P6. We haven't really spoken about much. And then they've got a little bit of a gap behind them as well. As we know, the DRS gap is absolutely crucial in this track. If you lose DRS, it could be curtains for your race. And that's why it's so important that these guys all hang on desperately. So are they going to fight hard, or are they just going to hold back a little bit and just play the long game, try and secure a good result for everyone up the front? I think that's probably the way they're going to be leaning here, as Mahavir following Piastri Goat once again, and would expect him to be very close in making a move into turn one here. Mahavir ducks to the inside. Piastri Goat has no issues with that. And in the meantime, Guga also gets past Keithy. So the Aston Martin into P5. Guga looking quite strong on this track so far from what we've seen, as Clammy Kid has had to come into the pits. And that is an early stop. So is that a front wing change that will be needed for the Haas driver? Let's have a look. Yes, it is. So that hurts. That hurts Clammy Kid. Now he's on the hard tyres. A tyre that most drivers will not be using for the duration of the race. And Clammy Kid is now joining Coistra, Globdrip and Frosty as the drivers that have pitted in this race already. So I've already had 4 drivers pitted. The field is already spread out quite a bit, as you can see on the map. Everyone kind of in little groups of 2. Apart from this front pack, which is the biggest of them all, surprisingly enough. As Danger and Trent have been able to hang on to the back here. We'll see how much longer that continues for. Mahavir's pulled out a good gap to Piastri Goat on this lap, as we've got a nice helicopter shot as they come around the final bank and onto the main straight. And Piastri Goat following close, but not close enough, and he'll just stay behind for another lap as Keithy and Guga swap again, as does Martin, getting past Grateful Dog. And they'll be happy as long as they're getting some good point scoring positions to continue to swap between themselves, as J2 Juicebox now moves himself into the points in that Alpine, who are really looking for some points at this stage in the season, as Com United also comes into the pits for a front wing change. It gets a 10-second. So a lot of drivers have had to get front wings replaced already, and it's really thrown a spanner in the works for some of the drivers' strategies. So a lot of work to do for some of those lower guys, as Clammy Kid made his way past Coistra up in 13th just then. And we're on lap 5 of 36 already, so it does go quickly, this race. And we're having a look at Trent at the moment as he tries to make some inroads on the drivers in front. Danger getting very close to Piastri Goat as well. And it's all about how well the cars can follow through this final corner. It looks like Mahavir's got a little bit better speed off that final corner than Piastri Goat does. This time he ducks to the inside, lets Piastri go around the outside. Danger defending strongly from Trent there, and just hangs on to that P3 for now, as Keithy's also been able to hold off Guga for another lap. And then going back a little bit, it's Grateful Dog and Martin in P7 and P8. There's a little bit of a 3-car battle developing here as well. Ari Wedlock has fallen off the pace a little bit, and that looks like end plate damage for the Ferrari as well. And yes, it is. He is missing an end plate, so that is causing some real issues for Ferrari at this stage. They need every point they can get, second in the Constructors at the moment, but at this stage Mercedes will be passing them to take second place off them. So really important, as there's a yellow flag on the main straight. I believe it might have been the Sauber of Frosty. And Com United's in the pits once again. So some real issues there for the Red Bull. Is going to be doing well to not get lapped at this stage. And yeah, Guga doing very well at this stage. In P6, he did qualify P4, which was very impressive, but just hasn't been able to improve on that in the race, as yeah, Com United's been lapped. So already a lap down, and that spells big problems for his race, as Ari Wedlock continuing to keep JD Juicebox and the Sprinter Giggles behind. And yeah, a few interesting battles starting to develop. This front four is getting very, very close to one another, particularly Trent, who's all over the back of that Red Bull of Danger. Searching for his second podium of the season is Danger. And can someone challenge Mahavir and Piastri Goat? The only two race winners, the only two full-time drivers to have run a race this season. Could we see someone else get up on the top step today? Based on early indications, it's looking like more of the same, as now a Sauber has stopped Frosty into the pits again, so he's going to be lap 2. So already 2 drivers are a lap down in this race, Frosty and Com United, and Frosty has retired from the races. Down the inside, steaming down the inside goes Trent there on Danger. A little bit of contact as well. Danger's fighting back. And it's very tight here as they go to the back corner. Big slide for Danger. Just hangs onto it. And now Trent gains that position. It was aggressive driving there. But now that's a crucial position for Trent because he could put pressure on Piastri Goat, who's currently in a Mercedes sandwich. And maybe Trent's got a little bit more pace than what has been shown at the moment. Obviously, he's been bogged down in this battle. But maybe if he's able to get out in front, he can pull away from these guys in the lead. So let's see what happens. Trent chasing down Piastri Goat. He's very close, a lot closer than what Danger was getting to the Aston Martin. And this is going to be an interesting watch down this main straight to see what happens. Mahavir has got a good gap on Piastri Goat once again, but gaining through the last corner. As the Aston Martin, oh, Piastri Goat's hit the wall and he's out. That is a big moment in this race. And just a little mistake, Piastri Goat finds himself in the barriers at the final corner. And that is huge ramifications for this championship battle. Mahavir is now in the box seat to win this race. Wow. But what does happen is Mahavir is stuck behind the safety car and he didn't pit. So Mahavir missed that. Safety car came out at the exact worst time for Mahavir. He couldn't get into the pits before the safety car came out, and now he's stuck. So all the other drivers are just going to be able to cruise up to the back, and Mahavir is just waiting. So he's going to lose a ton of positions from this. So while Piastri Goat has crashed out, and that's hugely helpful for Mahavir, he's still going to lose a lot of places here. He's going to lose the lead of the race to his teammate, Trent here, and that is a huge, huge moment. Piastri Goat, that is a... wow. What a moment. What a moment in this race. Piastri Goat holding an 11-point lead in the championship. His first DNF of the season has opened the door for a result to occur. And as you can see, Mahavir is in the lead, but look at all those drivers on new tyres. Mahavir is going to drop right back below out of the points here. The question is, does he stay out? I don't think he can. 8-lap-old soft tyres. It's tough. He's going to have to pit, surely. JD Juicebox, I'm not sure why he didn't pit. Com United should be able to unlap himself as well if Mahavir does pit. So there we go, he's in. JD Juicebox stays out. He's going to take the lead of the race. So where does Mahavir come out? He's in the pits now. He's all the way down to 9th. He'll come out in 9th place. So it's not a disaster for Mahavir. He's in P9. But that is still incredibly, incredibly unlucky for the Mercedes. Oh, actually, he's going to come out. PS Bowman did sneak in front of him, so he's going to come out in 10th. I can't believe JD Juicebox has stayed out. This is great for Com United. He's been able to unlap himself. Globdrip has as well, actually. So both of these drivers are actually going to be on the lead lap now and have a chance to score some points. Frosty and Piastri Goat out. We've got 15 drivers remaining in the race. And hasn't this flipped on its head? So Trent now is in the net lead of the race. Danger second, Keith third, Guga fourth. And all of a sudden, drivers will see that. They'll be licking their lips at the prospect of a potential podium or race win here today. This has opened the field right up. Mahavir down in P10. The positive for him is Piastre Goat isn't getting any points. Any points Mahavir gets is going to be a gain on his rival. If he gets P4 or better, he's going to take the lead of the championship. What a huge moment. JD Juicebox staying out. He's got a penalty, 3 seconds. The only driver in the race to have one. This is a bold decision to stay out. But yeah, if you've just joined us, some action has gone down, that's for sure. And we have no idea how this is going to turn out. And the curbs are deadly, yeah. They're very high at ZN4, that's for sure. I think that's what happened to Piastre Goat. He just got caught on the curb. I've done that many times myself. Caught on the curb and then crashing into the wall. That's happened a couple times now. I've seen across league races. That corner does seem to be a bit of a death trap for many drivers. So now the safety car, I believe it will come in this lap no matter what. I think it's hit the limit. So Com United is going to have to absolutely gun it down the back straight. I think he should just be able to catch it before the end. Yeah, rip Piastre Goat. What implication could that have on the championship? Wow. That was a curveball I don't think anyone saw coming. But now Mahavir has work to do. Trent, Danger, Keith, Guga, all in great spots in this race. They've got the pace. Trent definitely has the pace. We've seen it. So does Danger. This is a great opportunity for both of them. Neither of them have won this season. No one in the field besides Piastre Goat and Mahavir have won a race. Mahavir will be doing unbelievably well to get a win from here. But it's JD Juicebox, the only driver who is still on the tyres that he started the race on. And you get the feeling this could be a bit spicy going into turn one. Trent is going to want to clear this as quickly as possible. JD Juicebox is going to be the slowest driver out of all of them in terms of tyre age and pace at the moment. He's going to want to leave as little time as possible before the end of the straight. In fact, he goes now. He goes quite early. Trent's reacted well. This is a good chance for the Mercedes. If he can clear him into turn one, this could be a huge moment. He goes down the inside. JD Juicebox does defend it, but the grip for the Mercedes, is it going to be better? JD Juicebox still hanging on. He's fighting hard. He couldn't do it. The grip just was not there for the Alpine, and now Danger could just sail around the outside as well here, and I think he's going to be able to do it. He needs to stay within DRS of Trent here. That is crucial. I believe he has done. And now Keithy sneaks through. And JD Juicebox, the plan is starting to unravel a little bit for the Alpine. He's got Guga behind him now. He's got to be careful not to crash into anyone. And JD Juicebox has run wide onto the grass there. And it just has not gone to plan for the Alpine. Probably should have thought about pitting there. Tried to stay out. It didn't quite work. And there's been a yellow. Towards the back, it's a crash. Clammy Kid, Com United involved, and Ari Wedlock as well. No damage between any of them, though. That's a miracle that's happened. And Danger getting harassed by Keithy. And look at Trent. He's gapped him by 1 second. The DRS will be enabled this lap. If Trent can get away, this could be a big moment in this race. DRS enabled. Keithy moves into P2 ahead of the Red Bull. And that gap is just very tight at the moment. Keithy's going to have to put in a very, very good lap to keep himself in contention. If Trent can start to pull away here, this could be a very big result. There's a lot of position changes going on, and it's wheel-to-wheel between Globdrip and PS Bomber. Down in the lower points positions, Globdrip gets away with that one. And the other Williams is also in a scrap with Kuistra, who is right in the back of that Williams very closely. As in the meantime, Mahavir up to P6 has made the move on Grateful Dog, absolutely flying along. So can he have a say in this? He's now in this DRS train. The question is he going to be able to move through it as easily? So Mahavi has done quite well. And Keithy has caught up to Trent quite a bit, so he's got some pace. Danger doesn't seem to have the pace so far. A few drivers on the hards, a few on the mediums. The medium runners obviously looking better as Keithy takes the lead of this race for the first time this afternoon. And could he be on for a first race win of the season? Wouldn't that be a great result for the Ferrari team? As the three hard tyre runners of Danger, Guga and Martin currently trying to hold Mahavir off. The question is, will they be able to? Are those hard tyres going to kick into gear soon? Or will the mediums be the better option to the end is the main question. As Mahavir is going to be desperate. And here he goes down the inside. Has a crack at Martin. Martin says, no, thank you. He was very wise to that move. And defends the Mercedes. But the front two look to be pulling away from the rest now. So this is an important time in the race for Mahavir if he wants to compete for this win. He's getting ever so close to Martin in that Sauber. And you can see, look at the speed the Mercedes has through that corner. He's going to get a good exit here. Can he make a move as Trent takes the lead back? Martin flying down the straight though and just doesn't have enough. And this DRS train really starting to hurt as Danger has fallen 1.5 seconds behind the front two of Trent and Keithy. And a big snap for Martin. That's opened the door for Mahavir down the inside. And that is a move into 5th place. That's all it takes, a little moment. And Mahavir has taken that opportunity. And continuing to claw back the places. Trent and Keith are going to want to get as far away from this as possible. Or Trent maybe not because Mahavir's his teammate, but in the interest of getting a win, he might want to try and get away. Mahavir clearly the best pace in this field. And now he's got the Aston Martin of Guga in front, who's fighting hard here, hanging onto the back of Danger. He's sniffing a podium as well, is Guga. But look at the speed Mahavir is getting through this final sector. It's unbelievable. And the grip as well, it's just fantastic, as now he goes down the inside of Guga. And he's going to try and have a crack. Guga tries to force him out the way, but Mahavir could get 2 places here. Now down the inside of Danger, and he gets that position. And Mahavir into P3, and oh, Martin, Guga's off. Guga's off and Martin, they had an incident, and Guga is out. And Martin has front wing damage, and his front wing is completely gone, and it's another safety car. And both Aston Martins are out of this race. Can you believe what you're seeing here? This championship has been blown wide open. All of a sudden, another safety car. We didn't quite see what happened there, but I just saw Martin flying off the track. So they must have been going wheel to wheel there. But Guga is out. And now not just the Drivers' Championship is wide open, the Constructors' Championship as well. It's only about 35 points, the difference between Aston Martin, Ferrari and Mercedes. So if Ferrari and Mercedes get some good results here, this championship is going to tighten right up. Yeah, you're right. You've hit the nail on the head. That's a great return to an ORL stream. First race back and already drama all over the place. We're only halfway through this race. There's still plenty of time to go. Trent and Keithy pitting. Everyone's pitting. So I think most drivers will have saved a spare set of mediums here. And a few people have got spending the pit lane penalties. We'll have a look at that in a sec. Com United is going to stay out. And he's going to move into second, is Com United. And he's jumped in between Trent and Keithy. Trent is not going to like that in the slightest. But once again, that gives the back markers a chance to catch up. Like JD Juicebox, he's going to be able to get back into this. And Martin now down in P10 as a result of that. From what we're hearing in the chat, it was Martin's fault, the incident between him and Guga. But we will not pass judgment on that until we've seen the footage. But yeah, very interesting to say the least. A big incident that has changed the course of this Grand Prix. Our second safety car of the race. I'll have a look at some of the position changes here. Com United up 15, obviously, out of position, didn't pit. Keithy's gone up 6, so he started in 7th. 7th place for Keithy in qualifying and now in the lead of the race. What a result for him. Trent up into P3 as well. Danger down 1 in P4. Grateful Dog also in a good spot in P5. Mahavi down 5 places, but he's been on a bit of a roller coaster. I don't know how he's dropped down to P6 actually. And Grateful Dog, oh, the double stack would have hurt him. Yeah, double stack would have held him up, and now he's fallen behind Danger and Grateful Dog once again. So, Com United does decide to come into the pits, and Trent will be very delighted to see that. And Globdrip, we'll talk about how he's had a rough day. Look where he is, P6 and on new tyres. What a turnaround for the Williams. 2 Williams in the points actually. Mikey will be happy with that. Yeah, see Guga's in the chat. Unfortunate result for him. And Aston Martin, 2 DNFs. It's going to be interesting next week when the championship battle is tightened up. So Piastri Goat can only watch on and hope that Mahavir doesn't maximise his points. And we look through the rest of the top 10. Clammy Kid, who had a horror start to this race as well. He's up into P7, sniffing an opportunity now. Martin, after his broken front wing, has got it repaired and back into P8. Sprinter Giggles and PS Bomber finish out the top 10. Ari Wedlock, who's also had a shocking afternoon, he's going to be back into this as well. He's in P14. And we might have one more lap here, I believe. Yes, we will. So still anyone's ball game here. Keithy in the box seat. What do we think? Can Keithy win this race? Will it be Trent or Danger? Or will Mahavir be able to fly through, or anyone else? Make sure to put your predictions in. We'll see if you're right in 18 laps time. But I tell you what, there's going to be a few nerves fluttering from those drivers up the front. The opportunity to win a race here, and one that's been dominated by 2 drivers all season long. And all of a sudden a couple things happen and it just starts to open up a little bit. Can one of these drivers hold their nerve here and get the job done? As Ari Wedlock's come on to put new mediums on. So everyone on mediums besides JD Juicebox. Kuistra's on older tyres. So I think if I was in his position, I would have pitted there. Chuck some newer tyres on. Because I think he's going to be gapped pretty quickly. But yeah, safety car will be in this lap now. And what do the next few laps have in store for us? We've seen plenty in this race already, plenty of action. And the safety car is coming in. Keithy is leading the pack. He's the de facto safety car. He will control the field, as we've seen time and time again. But now Keithy in the lead, in a great position. And who's that? That's Mahavi in the wall. And as we thought the drama could not get any bigger, Mahavir has spun it on the restart, and now he's down in last on the track. That has given him a lot of work to do, and the safety car is underway. I can't believe what I've just seen. Grateful Dog, they're 3 wide into turn 1. Grateful Dog gets past Danger. What is going on? Globtrip spun. He's back at the field again. What is happening here in ORL Tier 1? This is unbelievable stuff. What happened to Globtrip? He's still got his front wing intact. Mahavir is now flying. He's trying to get past JD Juicebox. Gets that job done to P11. But wow, 3 wide into turn 1 on the restart. Grateful Dog was the winner of that battle. And all of a sudden, Haas, P3 and P5, right in this. And they ended up to their eyeballs at the moment. And now Clammy Kid having to defend from Martin again. And Martin lost a bit of time there, though. PS Bomber is up at a P7. All of a sudden, the Tier 2 champion from last season getting involved. Has had a quiet season. Could he snag some points? And I cannot believe what has happened to Mahavir. Is it the jitters? The championship jitters? He was in a great position. Now he's down in P13 and he's lost 3 seconds to Com United. And he's lost a front wing end plate as well. And now he's going to get passed by Globdrip. What is going on? He's going to have to pit Mahavir. And in he goes. The lap after the safety car restart. The potential of taking the championship lead. And it's all gone away in one moment. The new front wing's coming on. Mahavir is going to be last by about 30 seconds. The script has been turned upside down. I have no idea who wrote the script for this race, but they have given us one of the all-time greats so far. Drama everywhere you look. Championship leader DNF. Constructors Championship leaders, double DNF. And the driver who is poised to take the win and the championship lead has spun, and he's in last place on the track. There's 15 laps to go. Still ages left. Keith leading this race. Trent is in second. Danger in third. They're all within DRS of one another. And no matter which way you look at it, it's going to be a new race winner. A first race winner for the season. Who's it going to be this time? Trent. He's going to take the lead of this race. He wants it desperately for his team. Martin getting past Clammy Kid as well. And Ari Wedlock, look where he's come from. Back of the grid. He's got end plate damage still, but he's up into P7. Still fighting hard for Ferrari. And there's a big chain here in the back of the points positions. And this is unbelievable stuff. If you are watching this race, you have been treated to an absolute beauty here this afternoon in ORL. Because we still have absolutely no idea how this one's going to end. And drivers have been up the field, they've dropped down, they've dropped back up. Clammy Kid has front wing damage as well. I'm going to check the data. How many drivers have front wing damage? Martin, Clammy Kid. Martin, Clammy Kid, and who was the other one? Can't even remember. Oh, it was Ari Wedlock. So 5, 6, and 7 all have wing damage. Let's go back up to the front here. The main straight. Now that they know there's a win on the line, is the foot battling going to be just that little bit harder? Keithy's been looking great. Both those drivers have had great pace in this race. Keithy takes the lead back. But Danger, in this most recent stint, has just not looked as fast. He's still been good, but he just hasn't been right up there with the leaders. And there's 13 laps left here. Grateful Dog also just hanging onto this DRS train. He's going to be doing everything in his power to stay there and try and steal a podium as Globtrip now comes into the pits and serving a penalty, it looks like. And away he goes. Mahavir is going to get that position. He set the fastest lap. Now up into P13. But 23 seconds behind Com United in P12. Mahavir definitely might be able to salvage a few points from this. He'll be praying for a safety car of some description. But wowee, as we now start to cool down and unpack that incredible moments that have been in this race. And we focus on the driving here for the lead. 3 drivers that have definitely deserved to win at one point or another this season. And it looks like one of them is going to come out on top. Trent down the around the outside of Keithy takes the lead back. There's a yellow flag, and it's Kwistra. It's a safety car. You've got to be kidding me. Kwistra is out of the race. All of a sudden, Mahavir has been given a reprieve in this race. 12 laps to go. Have drivers saved some soft tyres? This is the 3rd safety car of the race. You got to pit here, don't you? You have to pit. This is going to be an interesting strategy decision for a lot of the drivers. It's all going to be decided by the guys up front, what they do. A lot of people are going to follow. Some people will pit no matter what. Nothing to lose for the guys lower down the field. But wowee. Another spanner has been thrown in the works. Every time we think we know what's going to happen, the complete opposite thing happens. And this is unbelievable. What's Trent going to do? This is a big decision. He pits. Everyone's going to pit. Of course they are. Why wouldn't you? New soft tyres. Pretty much everyone's started on the soft, so you'd have to have brought 2 soft tyres. Oh, yeah, there was a restart, so... Grateful Dog... No, sorry, Ari Wedlock stays out with wing damage. Sprinter Giggles has stayed out as well. Interesting decision. Does Mahavir have another spare set? Those softs will be a little bit older than everyone else's. That's going to hurt him just a little bit. He does. He's going to pit. Globtrick will stay out. He's on new softs. Mahavir does have an extra set, so that's well played. He's going to lose a position, but he won't be overly worried about that. So now it's a sprint to the finish. We'll have about 9 laps to go when the safety car comes in at the end. This has been unbelievable. Ari Wedlock's going to be controlling the field here. As we've seen, drivers that have stayed out to take the lead on the safety car. It hasn't worked well. JD Juicebox tried it earlier, and he was losing positions extremely rapidly. This is the last thing the leaders will want to see. Ari Wedlock and Sprinter Giggles in front of them on old tyres. Because they're going to have to do a bit of work to get past them. Let's just take a breath. I can't believe what we've seen so far. I reckon Mahavir's been in every position in this race. I think most of the drivers have been all over the joint. Almost every driver has had a good moment and a bad moment in this race. Except for Trent and Keith and Danger. They've been up front pretty much the whole race. So still absolutely no idea who's going to win this. It could genuinely be anyone. Anyone in this field. Based on what we've seen so far. And now that everyone's caught up, the safety car should be in this lap actually. So we will get our sprint to the finish. Good luck, Ari Wedlock and Sprinter Giggles. Maybe Ari Wedlock could be playing the team game for Keithy here, trying to hold up Trent. That's the only possible reasoning I could see, as Sprinter Giggles gets a 10-second penalty for a collision with Ari Wedlock. That looked pretty egregious, to be honest. He could probably get that removed if he doesn't pit again in this race, but somehow I expect he might have to. Safety car in this lap. And it's in the hands of Ari Wedlock. Every safety car has been led by a different driver. When is Ari going to go? He's got a little bit of protection behind him with that Williams. Just a slight buffer. Trent and Keith are going to be desperate to get on with this. Mahavi at the back. Has 10 laps. It's a sprint race for Mahavi to get as many positions as he possibly can. And he's off. Ari Wedlock off very early. It's a good start for Trent. He should be able to get this position into turn 1. And Ari Wedlock with a good start. Trent now down the inside. He's going to have a go at the Williams, who reluctantly allows him to go through and then runs a little bit wide. So Keithy and Danger get through, and that's the perfect start for them. Now they've just got one more car to navigate. Ari Wedlock, who's struggling with wing damage. A little bit of contact there between Trent and Ari, who's going to be doing his best for his teammate here, but couldn't hold on any longer. And that is a spin. Mahavir has lost his wing. What is going on? He's been thrown multiple lifelines in this race, but he is now round once again. As the second time in this race, we have not seen... This is very un-Mahavir-like, I can say that much. Usually he's not making any mistakes. He's getting some jitters in this race, it seems. And now, all of a sudden, that's more wing damage. It's probably going to be another pit stop. And that is any prospect of points over. He is down in 13th. Piastri Goat absolutely jumping up and down in his chair at the moment, seeing that result. But here we go. Down the main straight, Trent has a 7/10 advantage. Keithy was not able to put any pressure on the Mercedes yet. Mikey has made a good point. There can't be Mahavir in that car. The way that happened. That is unbelievable. Sprinter giggles now, trying to hold off J2 Juicebox, who's looking for a way through, but he can't get it. Mahavir now coming into the pits. And he's run out of tyres. He has to put mediums on. What an unusual race this has been. What we normally see in ORL has been completely chucked out the window. And it has been flipped on its head with 8 laps to go. Anything can happen. There's a yellow that's been caused by Globdrip going slowly in the first sector. Globdrip had an opportunity as well, but he's had a spin. And he's dropped right back. And I can see the Aston Martin boys celebrating this result, but it's not yet. There's still a Mercedes driver in the lead, and that is Trent, who's going to be doing absolutely everything here. Aston Martin will not score any points in this race. Mercedes could score 25. Keith gets the fastest lap, but Grateful Dogs takes it off him. 2/10 is the gap. And following very closely is the Ferrari. 7 laps to go in this one. Looking to cut underneath for the moment, but just staying behind as JD Juicebox loses a few positions. And this is very, very tight. Another yellow flag caused by Globdrip. Look how close Keithy's following. Look how close Danger's following as well. This top 3 separated by 3/10. This is racing at its finest. All 3 drivers battling for their first race win of the season. A couple of these going for their first win ever in ORL. Who's going to get the job done? Keithy's very close. The Grateful Dogs joined in on this party as well. And Martin is just languishing a little bit off the back. Ari Wedlock's done well to hang on to a P6 at this stage. He's got Clammy Kid right behind him though. And now down the main straight again. Here we go. Keithy's got a great run. He'll be able to get that job done. Is Danger going to pass as well? It looks like he might. Trent, he moved to the right there, but has allowed the Red Bull through, or has he? Braking late is the Mercedes. He wants to hang on to that second position, but Danger very nicely gets through and takes that position. Now Trent down to P3. He's lost 2 places on this lap. Lap 30 out of 36. Grateful Dog there as well. Martin just a little bit too far off to be in the race win contention. This is the battle we're going to be looking at for the next 6 laps. The podium and the race win still all up for grabs here. Danger following Keith very closely. Now's the time. They're going to start feeling the pressure a little bit as the race nears its conclusion. Can Keithy hold his nerve? Someone might have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this would be his first win in the league if he does get the job done. Let's see if we can find it actually as we go down the main straight. As Danger takes the lead for the first time, and Trent swoops to the inside. There's contact, there's banging wheels, and Keithy desperately trying to hold that outside line. Trent edging in front. Can he hold it? He's got the outside line. Keithy sticking a car in, and they've made contact. And Trent has almost spun around, but he stays there, and now Danger has gotten away. Is that the crucial moment in this race? It's 1.6 seconds the gap now. And that has cost them a lot of time there, that little moment between Keithy and Trent. And now Danger has got a bit of a buffer to work with. Can they do anything to bring this one back, or has Danger got this one? It's 2 seconds the difference. So that's brought Martin back into this equation as well. He's now in the DRS of this pack of 3 drivers. So, Danger now is in the box seat. All of a sudden, one little moment in this race, and he is now cruising in P1. Just needs to make it to the end, and he will win his first race in ORL. They're still battling behind. Keithy desperately wants to make up that time. Gets back into P2. Grateful Dog now fighting Trent for a podium place. Very close. How do they not make contact? And what a move by Grateful Dog around the outside. A great move by the Haas driver there. And all of a sudden, Trent down and out of the podium places. And the gap's still 2.1 between Danger and Keithy. And it looks like Danger is going to be good enough here to hang on to this victory with just a few laps left in what has been one of the wildest ORL races we've seen in a long time. Danger might be the one to come out on top in a race where we've lost our championship leader. His main rival is down in P12 and half a lap behind the leaders. And a huge snap for Trent. He saved it though. That was unbelievable effort from Trent to get that. That could have been race over for him as well. He's still going to be looking to get some points here, or get on the podium at least. So this still could be very tight all the way to the end, but Danger has increased that gap to 2.5 seconds. And it's looking more and more likely now that he's got that job done. But this is the big battle for P2 down to P5. Big points on offer here for all of these drivers. Keithy ahead of Grateful Dog, ahead of Trent, ahead of Martin, who has somehow found himself back into a good position in this race, following a big collision with Guga early on that saw him lose his entire front wing. And that incident and multiple others will be referred to the stewards after the race, I'm sure. And some penalties will probably be dished out after the race, but that's not what we're worrying about at this moment, because this is an incredible battle for second on the track. Keithy's still hanging on to that position. Grateful Dog, all of a sudden, is right in the mix here. And Danger in the meantime, just cruising away in P1, lap 33. Just needs to hold it together for the rest of the race, and he will be home for his first win of the season. Grateful Dog now makes the move on Keithy into P2. And now the Haas driver is poised to get their first good team result in a few races now. And there's a yellow at the back. Who's that? JD Juicebox is out. Surely not another one. Nah, it's not going to be. No safety car this time to bail anyone out. Danger 2.4 seconds ahead. JD Juicebox, I believe, was in a point scoring position there as well. So that's going to hurt. No points for Alpine. A double Alpine DNF, a double Aston DNF, and one Sauber in Frosty. nearing the end of this one. Ari Wedlock and the Sprinter Giggles have done well to hang on to P8 and P9 there with those very old medium tyres. Sprinter Giggles is holding that 10-second penalty though. As here we go, Keithy and Trent wheel to wheel into turn 1. And it's very, very tight. Trent looks like he has it, but Keithy with a good run around the outside. He's still hanging in there, but he yields the position to Trent there. Grateful Dog is going to be praying. He is going to be doing everything he can to hold off Trent, Keith and Martin behind. It's time to start planning a bit of tactics here. What position do you want to be in on the last lap? We're on the penultimate lap at the moment. We've got one more realistic overtaking opportunity for the rest of the race. And there's a lap car getting in the way. Globdrip. He's going to have to move. And this could be a bit of an issue here. He's blocked Martin a little bit. That has cost him. That has cost Martin big time. So Martin's out of this battle. Danger is going to start the final lap here with a 3-second buffer. Can the Red Bull driver bring it home? Who's going to be finishing on the podium? It's Grateful Dog leading, but Trent is flying. So's Keithy. We could be 3 wide into turn 1. They both pass Grateful Dog. Keith charges down the inside, and now Grateful Dog tries to cut underneath as well. They're wheel to wheel. Trent is inching ahead. He gets a better run, and now he's into P2. Can he hold on to it for the rest of the lap here? It looks like it. That's a great move from the Mercedes. Can he bring it all the way home now? Grateful Dog is coming back at Keithy, but he just doesn't have the speed and the grip to get through. Unfortunately, look how close they are still though. Can Keithy find another place to pass on this final lap? As Danger looks to be home on the final half of the lap here now. As Martin is now wheel to wheel with Grateful Dog. Look at this for P4. Grateful Dog hangs on. Look how close Keithy is. Can he go around the outside? Trent blocks the inside. Oh, very well defended there by the Mercedes. But as we look to the front, as Martin gets into P4, what an unbelievable race this has been. Twists and turns, but Danger is going to be the one that comes out on top. And it is a Red Bull who's going to win in ORL. It's Danger who gets the job done. Trent P2, Keithy P3, Martin P4. And Grateful Dog has had a spin. He's dropped down into P8. And now he's battling with Com United for P7. And you can see, not happy with that is the Haas. But what a result. Danger with his first ORL win. And what an unbelievable, unforgettable race that was to get it done in. It was the driver that was able to hold his nerve the best in the end. And that was Danger. What a result we have seen this evening. Trent and Keith finish off the podium. They were up there all race long. And a deserved podium finish. If it wasn't for that little moment between the two of them, it could have been a different result. But Danger was the one who was able to get the job done. And he will be absolutely thrilled with that result. So here's your result. Danger from third on the grid has bobbed up to get the job done, and I think that's worthy of a driver of the day as well for the Red Bull. Big story though, championship leader, no points. Championship contender, no points. Piastri Goat and Mahavir remain equal in their points as they entered in today. An unbelievable storyline. How did Mahavir not score any points? There were only 12 finishes. We'll never know. Maybe God was on Piastri Goat's side today. But what a finish. Danger with the win. And that has been a very unbelievable display of ORL racing action. Thank you all for joining us once again. I hope you were entertained, because I certainly was. that race was definitely something. And that's all from me. So thanks for tuning in. It was great to get a stream up once again. And what a race to do it in as well. Hopefully we'll see you next week. And that's bye for now from ORL. I've been JMan075.